Felix, we're here with IWC with some very exciting new releases for 2025. We've got an exclusive look that we can now share with everyone.
A little sneak peek, a little early NDA chat about the 2025 collection. The word of the year is
Ingenieur.
Ingenieur, or to its friends, Ingenieur. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start big or small?
Well, it's the focus for IWC. Small. I mean, this is new for the collection for 2025. We've got two 35mm models here to have a look at.
And Andy, this is a watch that has not been off your wrist for the time we've had in this session.
Yeah.
Incredible. Tell us about it.
Give this to me. This is 35mm, but like all sort of integrated bracelets, it wears a couple mils bigger. So I'd say it's more like a 37, 38, which is my personal sweet spot. This is the 5N gold, or rose gold equivalent that IWC offer. It's 42-hour power reserve, gold dial, really kind of clean, simple design.
And the size, it's interesting. I think this will be a watch made with women's wrists in mind. But as you've said, Andy, that looks absolutely incredible on you.
I'm pulling it off.
Absolutely wearable. I think for me, it's perhaps a bit too small, but that's okay because there's something else.
Wait, there's more.
There's more. You keep that on. I'm going to go with keeping it precious.
Yeah.
I'm really loving this 40mm 5N, really solid black dial. It's a really great comparison to that smaller piece. And
his and his.
His and his. That's
his.
Yeah,
all right.
Couple gold watches.
We're going back to steel.
Okay.
But with a little bit of
steel?
Complicated twist.
Steel? Of course, we've got to have the classic IWC combination, the Perpetual Calendar, PPC, sort of the, so defined by, Kurt Klaus's innovations in the 80s. It's looking really good. This, again, it's a strong design, and you might not initially have gone, the technical sort of PPC and the technical architecture of the Ingenieur with that high complication. It's not what you'd initially think, but...
To be honest, when I saw the release and saw the pictures, it didn't make sense to me, but seeing it does make a lot of sense. It looks good. It suits it. It's a little thicker than
There's more movement.
There's more movement to house, but it feels high quality. The finishing is nice. I really like the depth to the dials. So the sub-dials are countersunk, and the hands sort of sit at dial level, which is a really kind of sophisticated touch. Of course, these all have that same kind of crosshatch pattern. There's a technical term for it, but there's a crosshatch pattern on there that we love.
I think it's just such a classic combination pairing. Some things go together. IWC Perpetual Calendar. It's one of those had to have. There's something else. There's something a bit different though. It's not all Ingenieurs, Andy.
Well, let's see. Well, on the topic of material, let's go to the new material you have there.
New material. This, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting precious metals, but this black ceramic, and it's quite interesting. My initial reaction upon seeing this and strapping it on, which, if you can do it, definitely do it because of that lightness and that sort of the feel of it on the wrist. It doesn't feel harsh. I've tried on ceramic, integrated bracelet watches before, and they're always a bit, what's the word? Angular, sharp. This is all, softer edges, softer finishes.
The other big focus for IWC this year, we've talked a lot about ingenieurs. Now we've got to talk about pilots.
We're heading out of the engineering lab and onto the track.
It would not be an IWC release if there wasn't a pilot focus. There's got to be a pilot somewhere.
Even when it's all about Portuguese or Ingenieur, they sneak in a pilot. That's just what they do. What are we talking about here, Andy? What are we looking at?
We're looking at the IWC Performance chronograph with the ceramic thin bezel, which I think is the first ceramic bezel I've seen on a chronograph from IWC.
We've seen versions of this around those themed F1 releases. The new thing here, obviously, is this 5N gold case. It's black and gold. It's a winning combination, and this it's an interesting take on that. Pilot. We're so familiar with IWC. The pilot's chronograph is a classic for an icon, a classic for a reason rather. Adding on this tacky bezel gives it a more sort of technical edge. Perfectly timed for what IWC is all about this year, which is their big budget cinema debut.
Yeah, which I can't wait to see it later in the year. This one has a smoked out sapphire crystal on the case back. All of these watches actually have clear case backs. I don't think that the Ingenieur previously has had a clear case back, which is...
the titanium ones were solid on the back.
Yeah.
To sort of preserve that, it's all about the technical tool watch spirit of that original, debut release. But now they're sort of opening things up a little bit.
Yeah, and what I like about this is it's sort of got that black and gold colorway that if you remember last year's releases on like the Perpetual Calendar, they sort of introduced that theme, so it's a continuation. This feels tight, it feels cohesive. They're not doing too much this year. They've sort of grown and expanded the Ingenieur collection, I think, in the right way, which, whenever someone brings back an icon or re-envisions it, you're always a little bit worried about where it's going to go, but I think they've really done a solid job here. The 35mm Felix, complete surprise for me.
Yes.
But I'm loving it.
It's conspicuously on your wrist still.
It's still there. They might pat me down when I leave, but I'm kind of keen to see what they do with it. They've also done like a bunch of interesting stuff across all of these models with the finishes. So the carbon fiber, for example, has 3 or 4 different finishes. Brushed, satin, I think the ceramic has 3 different finishes: brushed, satin, maybe some polish. Super hard to achieve each and every one of those, and they all add different elements to it.
And the thing, I don't know if you can see this. This is, you mentioned sort of rattly, which I think is maybe a disservice. Motion in the bracelet, like with other ones, I've tried ceramic bracelets on that don't feel good. They feel like a bit of a
it's us.
vice around the wrist, but this flows with you, and it's got that. It feels like ceramics often talk about being a high-tech material. This is high-tech, sure, but it also has that charm of a vintage watch, which is a weird thing to say about a ceramic watch, I think. It just wears really well. I was surprised at how much I dug this one, and that the black dial's just void-like.
Yeah, in the right lighting, it just kind of sucks up all of the exposure out of the room. But the other and the final point I'll make is just the bracelets. They're also great. There's a mixture of sort of brushed and polished combinations now. So the Perpetual Calendar has polished and brushed links. This 35 that I'm wearing has brushed and polished. Whereas
this is only brushed.
Only brushed.
Only brushed. Again, that sort of,
foreshadowing.
Utilitarian.
I think it's foreshadowing some bumps and scratches.
Oh, really?
They're going to come.
No, you're not going to scratch this. It's going to look great.
But anyway.
Yeah, RWC, well done. Check them out. If you can see them IRL, do it.
Do it. Let us know what you think of the releases in the comments wherever you watch this. Sweet.